I wanted to come and talk for a minute about people that have the absence, that didn't have a good father around. And I'm going to flip the camera, guys, because I just woke up. There's no need in me being on camera for this one. First of all, I believe if you had no father or your father wasn't around, I think that that's no excuse for your behavior. I don't believe that people that didn't have their father around can just use that as an excuse for fucked up behavior. Okay, again, I repeat, if you didn't have a father around, if you didn't have a good father around, that doesn't mean that you don't know right from wrong. So I would never say that having an absent father is an excuse for fucked up behavior, but a lot of people will try to say that. I think when people start to actually want to do right and not wrong, this world will be better off. But we're constantly making excuses for people. But I will say this, a person's upbringing has a lot of bearing on the way that they are. Now, I will tell you that I was taught a lot of right from wrong in my upbringing. It may have had a lot to do with what I saw around me. Sorry, I'm tired. It may have had a lot to do with what I saw around me. But when I noticed that something was going on with my family, cool, flash, you know what, I'm not going to do that because that's going to use up my battery. When I noticed that my family got corrupt, it wasn't until years later, wasn't until I was an adult, when it seemed like my family got real corrupt. Like, I'm talking about several people within my family. Like my mother, her brother. It seemed like they didn't get corrupt until they got older. And why does this person always come in here and say that shit? I think that people need to quit making excuses for their behavior. Your father not being around is no excuse. It's not. Even though my father was around, there was a lot of negative shit happening with him and my mother. And I still knew right from wrong. Because I was thinking about old girl and how corrupt she is, Tina Turner. I was thinking about how corrupt she is. Very corrupt. Tina Turner is fucked for life. You understand me? That girl she's, if you were to look up piece of shit, if you were to look up degenerate, if you were to look up a bad person in the dictionary, Tina Turner would come up. Her picture would be in there because Tina's a very bad person. Okay, she is not the type of person that you would want to leave your children with. She's not the type of person that you would want to leave anything that you care about with. Okay, I'm just letting you guys know. You guys can question me all you want about that, but it's the fucking truth. She's a piece of shit. The fact that she grew up without a father is no excuse for her behavior. But I will say that you can tell that she grew up with abusive men around her. You can tell because she seems jealous of my daughters because of that video. She seemed to feel like my daughters should feel lucky. This is the type of woman that I would never have coaching my daughters or talking to them. I would never ever. In fact, I would be scared shitless if I ever found out that Tina had ever talked to my daughters. Because this is a woman that doesn't have respect for herself. She feels as though my daughters should feel lucky that their father is doing those things. Even though that night it was an ongoing drama over nothing. It was an ongoing drama. Their father had been smoking sherm that whole night. You could tell he was wet, very wet, and then also drunk. So for me, I think everybody's been around their father, when he's drinking or whatever, but I'm just going to say it like this. I wish that I would have just kept him away from my kids. I wish that I would have kept YouTube away from my kids. They should have never, ever, ever been on YouTube. And it is because of the low-life degenerate scum in the black sector is the main reason. I hope that not a dime, not another penny goes into the black sector. I really do. I can't wait till that shit is over with the black sector. And you can tell when they'll be, like literally you can tell when they'll be gone, because maybe people like L-Bum will go away when he realizes that there's no hope for him. It sucks how when ignorant niggas show up on the scene, how they screw it up for everybody else. And how the head leader of their pack has no discernment. This man has absolutely no discernment. Everybody is a dope fiend. I mean, if children were depending on him, we all know that even his own children, if they were dependent on him, them children would be dead. They would be gone. They wouldn't, life would fucking suck for them. His own kids can't even depend on him. So why would I expect any different? Of course, a man like him wouldn't see the value in a woman like me, wouldn't see any value in anybody because he doesn't have any within himself. He didn't have a father growing up. But sometimes not having a father, like some of y'all got to understand that if your mama kept you from your dad, literally, can't you see that she did that? Especially if your mama didn't beat you, your mama didn't bring men around you to molest you, your mama didn't do shit like that to you. Seemed like to me your mama was trying to protect you, especially if your father was a woman beater. A lot of y'all didn't appreciate your mama at all. Like if your mama actually kept you from your father because she knew what your father was about, you should feel lucky. You know what I'm saying? You should feel lucky. And a lot of women was strong enough to do that. A lot of women were strong enough to do that. It takes a strong woman to do that. It takes a strong woman to keep their kids away from danger. Because some of y'all fathers was dangerous. You know how, like, you see a pack of fucking wolves or something? Or hyenas. And the daddy's getting ready to, the father hyena getting ready to eat the damn children. Getting ready to eat the cub. And the female hyena is crazy, gonna protect her offspring because that's just the instinct of the female. I've seen it happen. I've seen dogs. I've seen bitches kill the male dog for trying to hurt the puppies. We see that shit happening all the fucking time. But yeah, you guys stupid idiots that feel as though, because there's a lot of men out there that wouldn't harm their kids, of course. Some of these men being around their kids is more harm than good. A lot of these men are dysfunctional. A lot of these men have dysfunctional families, and literally the reason why my ex is around my kids at all is to screw them up. It's the only reason why he was even there, just to create dysfunction in them, of course. When they were with me, they didn't experience any of that. Most men should be under a woman's control. Men should not be allowed to make decisions. Men should not be depended on for good decisions. You understand me? They shouldn't be. The reason why this world is the way that it is, the reason why we've got so much violence is because of men and their decisions. Men should not be allowed to make decisions like that. Not all of them. Not all of them. There are some men that are amazing. For example, I know for a fact that both of my sons are going to be amazing individuals. But most men should not be allowed to make any hard decisions. These are facts. It's going to take me probably years to remove. And you know what? My daughters are actually more mature than their father. They are. Which is why he wants them around, because he's a little child. He's a narcissist. He wants his children to parent him because he can't take care of himself. Yep. In most cases, the fairy tale is fake. In most cases, when you're dealing with your father. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. After seeing the way that my ex is doing his daughters, my father was pretty much a fucking knight in shining armor. I'm sorry, this makes my father look like a king. For real, for real. No matter what you say, like, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you spin it, you know what I'm saying? Now, I will tell you this. I don't know if it was actually my father that was stalking my mother all those years. Because you can't really be a good father if you're stalking the mother. If you're a stalker and you're trying to raise kids, really? A man that's stalking people is mentally ill, so he can't be a good father. A stalker can't be a good father, I'm sorry. But some of these men do live double lives. This is why I'm saying women should be the decision makers, in which we are, when you think about it. You know, right now, it's not necessarily Donald Trump that's making all the decisions. It's his wife, to be honest with you. Well, you know, you never know. They make her look like a victim a lot. But typically, it's the first lady that makes a lot of the decisions, typically, in my opinion. At least that's the way traditionally it used to be. Okay? But it seems like men in power, usually with men in positions of power, the woman is making all the decisions, typically. But now they say that everything is backwards and flipped upside down anyway, because they say that there's no real women in power. They say that all of the women in power are actually men. So at least that's what they say on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out when the demonic stuff will stop. If I were to date back on when the demonic shit started happening in my life, like this weird shit, like just this weirdness, was definitely after I had children with Frankie. Definitely. I would automatically attribute, for some reason, I automatically attributed this demonic stuff to my family. But when you think about it, every single time I have tried to move on with my life past him, a bunch of demonic shit starts happening. And so I think a lot of it has to do with him. A lot of it. I think that he has a natural, just to expose my ex, he has a natural way of manipulating the energies around people. If you notice, my ex had total control, and you people should be embarrassed by this. He had total, this man has no money. I can't imagine that he paid anybody in the black sector. But if you notice, Franklin Childress had total control over Tina Turnup yesterday, as well as L-Dot. Total control over them. They don't even know it. I can't imagine that they know this man, but he had total control over them for some reason. He has a natural ability to manipulate. My ex does. He has a natural ability to manipulate the energies. And he totally was able to manipulate YouTube yesterday because he doesn't want his daughters to come back over here. And, you know, it's pathetic because, again, just like with Sylvia Ganush, why would you manipulate and conjure a demon to drag someone to hell when you just could have paid your mortgage? You could have conjured something to pay your mortgage. So all of you, a lot of you, Mike Mills included, was under the influence of my ex. And you know what? He don't have a lot of money, but for some reason, Franklin Childress is very powerful. For some reason, that Shermhead drunk had control over the whole fucking black sector of YouTube, damn near. He did. Ever since I hooked up with him and have tried to move on with my life, he's been doing this. I've seen him manipulate my whole family. I've seen him manipulate people that I've been involved with, but I believe that there's people out there that he can't manipulate. That's why I have him binded. I have him in an airtight container. He been doing this shit for 15 fucking years. Yeah, I got something for him. For some reason, this man, and I don't know what it is, he has the power to tear everybody down. And that's what he did. He manipulated Lamar. He manipulated Tina. He manipulated several people. He was actually able to manipulate a whole chat room full of fucking people. So weird. I wonder who these people were. Were they people in his family? Is Tina related to my ex? Is Lamar related to my ex? I wonder how this man was able to manipulate so many people yesterday. Well, how is it that he can't manipulate himself into getting a job and a place to live? It's probably because it's all a ploy. You know, it's really honestly just a game. I don't get it. Like, literally, like, is this man the devil? Or does he have really, really, really good psychic skills? Is what I wonder. Wow. That's crazy. Anyway, guys, I'm getting closer and closer to getting to, my financial goal to go and get the girls. But that wouldn't be the end of it. Just going to get them. It would be hell. He was able to manipulate my daughters when I had custody of them, though. And I still have custody of them. He doesn't have custody of my daughters at all. But for some reason, he was able to make it difficult for them to get up and go to school. I remember them being very tired for some reason. They would be too tired to get up. That's a trip. Yeah, my spirits is they really, really, really saying a lot to me right now that I'm not gonna share. Well, we'll see what happens when I get back to Kansas City. We'll see what happens. That's all I gotta say. I'm back. Internet got to buffering. What I will say to you is that I'll never give in to him. I'll never get back with him. I'll never be with him. Because he's been stalking me for a very long time. And he's not a real man. This is probably somebody that, I feel as though he is probably some kind of weird shape-shifting demon. That's what he is. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I can tell you this, my children with him that I have with him, they're 100% human. I don't know how I ended up with two children with a shape-shifting demon.